Hello, my fellow witches and wizards. My name is Evan, and I'm here to tell you about Harry Potter and the Order of the Phoenix. Now, there's a lot of exposition in the 4 books that lead up to this one, but I'm going to try and summarize it as best as I can. Harry Potter is a magical boy who... Hey, wait, what spell is... Anyways, he crushed the Dark Lord when he was just a wee lad. The Dark Lord's name is Voldemort, as I like to call him. Your grandpa's depressed friend. After a little bit more death, Harry Potter goes to Hogwarts, a magical school where they teach magical boys magical things. Harry Potter meets a lot of friendly faces at Hogwarts, including these people. Hermione, Hagrid, Dumbledore, Hedwig the Owl, Fred and George, Malfoy, Crabbe, and most importantly, Neville. Yeah. Now, some people want Voldemort back. They are called Death Eaters. They're all Slytherin. Sorry, I think I had something in my throat. Anyways, during the Triwizard Cup, Harry's quote-unquote friend was murdered by Voldemort.
Harry, please save me before I was
And Voldemort is somehow connected to Harry through a scar. Yeah, and I guess I forgot one tiny insignificant detail. The government is evil now and wants to murder the entire main cast. This book is jam-packed like a moldy Uncrustable with rising action. This book raises attention for over 500 pages straight, so let's start with the first main rising action. Harry Potter is gently encouraged to go live in Grimmauld Place, a hideout for resistance from the Ministry. This resistance is called the Order of the Phoenix. Basically, in the span of 2 months, Ministry of Magic went totally corrupt and now thinks Dumbledore's gonna kill everyone with his army of second graders. So they think Voldemort doesn't exist. And the kid he killed died of a cough, because that makes sense. This advances the plot because it gives the reader knowledge of the current state of the Ministry and the main cast of characters. So anyways, the next piece of rising action is when Harry goes back to Hogwarts. Basically, the Ministry is scared of Dumbledore, so they make Dolores Umbridge the defense against the dark arts teacher. She is literally sated. The Ministry doesn't want the kids to be able to defend themselves or have free will, so they step in, creating Umbridge the High Inquisitor. Now she adds tension at Hogwarts with new pointless rules and such a strict personality, even prisoners are treated with more respect than the Gryffindors. This advances the plot because it shows the Ministry's attempts to monitor areas in absurd ways, and how the return of Voldemort is shifting the magical world. Another piece of rising action is when Mr. Weasley gets jumped by Voldemort. After a very kissy part in the book, Harry goes to bed dreaming of his crush, Cho-Cho Train. And suddenly, he has a dream that he is a snake, and Mr. Weasley gets attacked by a snake. Coincidence? I think not. Harry wakes up and then throws up on Neville. He is very scared. So he and Dumbledore zoom off to where Mr. Weasley's This advances the plot because it introduces the idea that Harry and Voldemort have a psychological connection. The last piece of rising action is about the Azkaban breakout. During a day at Hogwarts, Hermione gets the Daily Prophet, a newspaper run by the Ministry. Unfortunately, the paper informs them that 10 criminals have escaped from Azkaban. Now, who could be behind this? Is it A. Voldemort, B. Voldemort, C. Voldemort? Place your answers on your phone right now. Trick question, it was none because it was obviously Sirius Black. According to the Ministry, this advances the plot because it starts to introduce the new threats approaching with Voldemort's return, and how no one is safe, especially Sirius. So now we finally reach the climax. In this part of the book, Harry falls asleep in class to see Sirius being tortured in the Ministry of Magic by Voldemort. After probably killing Umbridge, Harry and his friends do the only logical thing to do, break into the Ministry of Magic. They're just like Harry and Mars, or I guess Harry and Malfoy. They break into the Department of Secrets and start rummaging around in there. Suddenly, they find an area filled with shiny glass circles. Harry decides to yoink one of them, setting up the conflict. Suddenly, Lucius Malfoy and 10 Death Eaters appear. Apparently, Harry has just grabbed the prophecy, and Voldemort wants it. So everyone just starts attacking 7 defenseless children. Psych, they're not defenseless, and they wipe their entire army. Hermione is knocked cold, Neville's kicked in the face, Ron is drunk, and Ginny probably broke some ankles. Now, since everyone is wounded, the only logical thing to do is to go deeper into the Ministry of Magic. Ron almost stupids himself to death, and Neville is the only one besides Harry who can fight. Harry and Neville get cornered in a large room where all Death Eaters corner our heroes. Then suddenly the Order of the Phoenix breaks into the Ministry too, because crime is fun! There's a huge fight. Dumbledore joins the chat and decides to murder all the Death Eaters. They have a very fun game of who can murder each other first, and the Order decides to win. Except for Sirius, he decides to duel Bellatrix, because that's a smart idea. Sirius gets completely smacked by the Avada Kedavra, and he is completely dead. Also, Mr. Butterfingers drops a prophecy and it breaks in half. Harry is very angry about this, so he decides to 1v1 Bellatrix. Then Dumbledore appears and completely destroys her. On the subject of appearing, Voldemort appears, and he's very angry about the prophecy being lost.
I gave you one job, you useless sheet of parchment. Next time, kill Harry Potter.
I'm sorry, sir. But I killed Sirius. Is that a good thing?
Oh, little silly boy. Unlike your army, I plot armor.
Dumbledore 360 no-scopes Bellatrix and Voldemort, so they go run away. It is currently very late at night, and I still have to film the following action, so I'm going to make this really quick. Harry and Dumbledore chat, and Dumbledore tells Harry about the prophecy. It's really long, you can read it right here. Then, Harry tries to cope with the death of Sirius Black by talking to many people, and eventually he finds himself being able to talk to Luna Lovegood and feel good afterwards. Okay, so Walker voiced a few lines in this. You know Walker, you know it is impossible to get him to coordinate. Set, go. Action. I've been recording, Walker.